Here is my latest book review, Unstoppable Prosperity by Charles Payne. This is my honest review. This is not paid for. This is not sponsored. This is just an honest review of my latest reading, Unstoppable by Charles Payne. So y'all stay tuned. Hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell icon. Hit that like, comment, and share button. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and children of all ages, you are now tuned in to the Investor Show. As always, this is your gracious host, the Prince of Investing, Prince Dice, coming to you guys and girls live all the way from the beautiful state of Denver, Colorado. Don't forget to hit that like, subscribe, comment, and share button. And as always, I don't have a lot of time, and I definitely know you guys and girls don't have a lot of time, so we're going to jump straight into it. So here in this video, it's pretty simple and easy. I'm going to talk about my latest book review, Charles Payne, Unstoppable Prosperity. By him, he's a Fox Business financial host of the show called Make Your Money with Charles Payne. I'm going to give you 4 goods, and I'm going to give you 4 bads, and I'm going to give you an overall review, well, not review, my overall score of this book. So first thing is, I love to read books that have a different perspective from all type of investors, all type of people from across the financial industry spectrum and things like that, right? So one of the first things that I decided to do was I decided to look up, read this book, Charles Payne, I just finished. So the good things about it. Now, the very first thing that I noticed, it was very good packing. If you haven't seen my video on the unpacking of this book, it was very good. He had a nice box. It had all type of goodies in it. So I did like that, and that's something that I aspire to do one day with my products, to where it was like an experience. It came in a nice Unstoppable Prosperity box. It had thank you cards in it. It had a DVD in it, all those other great stuff. So I definitely give him a thumbs up. I'm used to getting books inside of like little packages, little envelopes, but very good packaging. So that was the first thing that I noticed. Very good packaging for the book. Now, one good thing, the second good thing I liked about the book, number 2, was he had really good points in there. It wasn't very glossed over. Like, I read a lot of financial books, and it's like, yeah, you should invest and look for good companies, and that's about it. And I found good companies, and yeah, he really drilled down and said, hey, this is exactly how I did it. This is how I do it. This is how you can do it too. He gave examples. He pulled out charts. So very good on him for actually getting down to the nitty gritty. How many times have you been to some type of seminar and the seminar was free, and when you go to that free seminar to try to learn about something and just gonna find out it's just a bunch of stuff that's just glossed over, like, oh yeah, you should start investing. But if you really want to know how to invest, get my new course for $2,000, So it wasn't that. He really gave out good stuff in the book. Number 2, good fundamentals. He had good fundamentals in the book. What you will see in the book, he had good fundamentals as far as on this show. You hear me talk about 10Ks, annual reports. So people pull up annual reports. You don't know what you're looking at. You see some good stuff. It's like 200 pages of God knows what. So he really in this book put down, hey, this is what you need to look for inside of fundamentals. This is what I look for. These are the exact things. So it does help out with learning how to read fundamentals and how they impact stocks, their movement, all of the great stuff. Number 3, good technical data. So he brought in about, hey, using charts, knowing when good signs are, knowing when good bad signs are, using MACD lines, using RSI lines, support and resistance, moving averages, 50-day moving average, 200-day moving average, 20-day moving average, all those little technical things on the charts. He really broke down, gave examples, told how they play into the overall picture of a stock's movement and you investing and you obtaining unstoppable prosperity. So good job on that. Now, number 4, this was one of the big takeaways I took from the book. You have an investor and you have a trader. You have a fundamental person and you have a technical person. This book here brought both of them together. One of his pillars is fundamentals tell you what to buy, technicals tell you when to buy it. So instead of just focusing on fundamentals and being an investor, and instead of just focusing on technical and being a trader, he merged the 2 worlds together to help you obtain unstoppable prosperity, gave examples, pointed out how to do it, all of the great stuff. So good job on that. Now let's get to the things that I didn't like. One of the things I didn't like, the first thing I didn't like, I didn't feel that it's very good for very, very beginner investors. Even though he tried to do a good job of kind of smooshing you in, making it very easy to comprehend, which it is, but I think that for a brand new investor, somebody who never touched investing at all, to walk straight into this book, they may not get as much out of it as an immediate to an expert trader. So I probably wouldn't recommend this book to a very, very novel investor. Even though it has some great points in it, and he did try to break it down, it still was some things that you kind of needed to have an idea. Like when I saw the MAC ID line, I had a good idea of what it was. I knew how to pull it up on a chart. I knew what it looked like. I just wanted to see what his take was on it. But someone who never even been into the world of investing, when they hear the words MAC ID line, RSI lines, moving averages, Bollinger binders, all that, the MFI, the money flow index, all these different indexes that he used, it could be a tad bit, a little bit overwhelming if I was a brand new investor, right? So I didn't like that. Yes. Now the second point is kind of ties into the first point. In the beginning, it was a lot of fluff. Like I did enjoy learning about his life and who he was, which is very important with an investor. But it was a lot of fluff. It was like, oh, the stock market is good, and this is how the stock market is performed, and this is how the stock market, to an intermediate, to an expert investor, you're like, okay, cut through that. Get me to the fundamentals, get me to the technical data, get me to the meat and potatoes. I want to hear what you got to say. So it was a lot of fluff in the first couple of chapters, kind of talking about himself, kind of telling you about investing. But I think that he was trying to, from my interpretation, that the book was trying to be tailored to the very, very novel investor, somebody who just get into investing, somebody who's on an intermediate to expert field. They already know what the stock market is. They know what the index is. They know it's a good thing. They are just trying to add to their arsenal. So, it was a lot of, fluffy stuff in the beginning of, his background, which was great. But, it was a lot of fluff in the beginning of trying to tell people why investing was important, while retirement, I could have done without that. So I didn't like, there was a lot of fluff that I had to get through. The third thing was the book was mixed between a beginner and an expert, an intermediate person, what I think he tried to write it for. But I think he kind of missed the mark with that. I think that he probably would have been better off with having a beginner version, like a very novelist book, to like, hey, this is investing, this is what it is, this is how you can do it, this is how you buy stock, this is how you sell stock, this is what a stock is. I think he would have been then had an intermediate version to say, hey, now let's get into the advanced technical stuff or whatnot, fundamentals, reading 10Ks, reading charts, and that would have been maybe two different books maybe, but he merged them together, which was a great job that he tried to do, but I think he kind of missed the mark with, I think a beginner would be a little bit confused, and I think some of the stuff in there for an expert or intermediate investor, some of it was a little bit down. So, but overall, I get it, but, that's just my take. Number 4, what I didn't like was the DVD. To be honest, I haven't even reviewed the DVD, and just like I said in the unboxing, it is 2020. Come on, Mr. Payne. Using a DVD, not very good. I'm 35 years old, and anybody from 35, 40 and under are not using DVDs anymore. Everybody is streaming. Everybody's using QR codes. People have secret links, all type of stuff. So to better what I would have liked to see, maybe a QR code where I could have scanned it with my phone, and it took me to a private place to watch your video. Maybe you had a private link on YouTube, a private link on your website, but a DVD, I don't have a DVD player. My laptop, my computer, I think I may have to go all the way upstairs, in my living room somewhere and find a DVD player just to watch this DVD. Did not like the DVD concept, even though I haven't watched it. I'm pretty sure the DVD is probably pretty good, but I haven't had the chance to watch it because it's 2020. Everybody is streaming everything. Everybody has private links. I mean, for me, for God's sake, I have private links for people to see stuff. So everybody likes on demand when they want it, and it's so easy to. So my recommendation to that is to just put it online and maybe have a private link just for the people that that are who purchased the book or something like that. But the DVD thing, so outdated, right? So nobody really kind of has that. So that was my 4 goods. My good things. I like the packaging. I like he made really good points. He really told what he was talking about, made it simple to comprehend. He gave out some good fundamentals on reading 10Ks. He gave out some good technical data on reading charts. And he merged the worlds of traders and investors and technical and fundamental, which was great. It made me kind of merge the world. I started out as a technical person, then I went into fundamentals, and I thought you kind of had to pick a side, but he made it seem like, hey, you should be together, so I definitely like that. The bad thing the things that I didn't like, I didn't like how it was a lot of fluff, not for a brand new investor, I kind of felt. And I think he was kind of toting that line between beginner and expert or, experience levels. But I think that can kind of, an experienced person, they could look at some parts being too elementary, and a beginner person could look at some parts being a little bit complex. And then number 4, I didn't like the DVD. But overall, the parts we rating for. Dun-dun-dun-dun-dun. So on a scale from 1 to 10, I would give Charles Payne Unstoppable Prosperity. I would give this a read rating 7. I think it definitely should be in your arsenal. I definitely like how he took the worlds of fundamentals and technical and put them together to build your prosperity, which he pretty much said fundamentals tell you what to buy, technicals tell you when to buy it. So I like how he merged those worlds, and I like how he really gave out some stuff. So I would definitely give this a read. I would definitely read it. I would definitely keep it in my bookshelf. So I hope that helps you out. This is Charles Payne from Fox Business. Very good story. He was a fund manager before. I think he said he managed somewhere between 0 to 250 million. So obviously he's done pretty well in his field. Good read, good stuff. I definitely took some takeaways out of here. As you can see, this book is warped. Look at that. That's how much I flipped through it and marked pages and stuff like that. So it's definitely in my arsenal. So that's my overall review of Charles Payne, Unstoppable Prosperity. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and share button. Until the next video, podcast, cartoon, or whatever else you see me do crazy around the globe. Peace. Be safe. I'm out, and thank you.